Well, here we are. I guess in the spirit of Papers, Please, we're gonna do another game about being in a cold, oppressive society where you have to do not so great things in order to survive and whatnot. This game is called Frostpunk. It's from the creators of This War of Mine. If you haven't heard of that game, you can check that out. I played it on this channel a few years ago, so there's a whole playlist of like I think it's 19 parts or something of that. That was also about a cold, oppressive scenario. Although while Papers, Please is all about dystopian future 1984 style, this game and This War of Mine are both about being in a more catastrophic situation and just trying to get your population to survive. In that game's case, This War of Mine, you were a group of like 1 to 5 or so people just trying to live in a bombed out house during a war in a country you can't escape, just scavenging and protecting your building and just trying to outlive the war. This time, we are the last city on Earth after some kind of catastrophe has wiped out seemingly the world, and you're freezing and you're starving and you're just trying to hold on with one last glimmer of humanity of what's left, and there might be a darkness that is revealed within humanity as a result. I haven't played it yet, but that's my outsider premise observations. This ought to be interesting. People who are homeless don't get any benefits from entertainment such as public house or fighting arenas. Thanks, game. Just straight up opening right off with the concept of homelessness in this concept. Working overtime for too long will make your people discontented. So this will be interesting because it's real time and it's a management simulator, and you have a town. I'm not great at the multitasking and the real time management stuff, so it'll be really interesting to see how that turns out.
We roam the still, cold world. No horizon in sight. The rulers of old, stripped of pride and glory. It feels as yesterday we were turning the wheels of progress. Until the frost stopped it all. Suddenly, without a warning. When tides had changed, they changed for all of us, no matter wealth or class. We've lost our world to snow, and with it, our last traces of humanity. Bid farewell to plenty, and for those who remained came the time to adapt. We decided to leave our homes and head north. We roamed for weeks, maybe months, leaving behind all the things we once believed had made us. It was hope pushed us forward. Slowly, step by step. We knew the cost of our journey, and we paid the price 100 times. Finally, the time has come to build the last city on Earth.
I assume there was some kind of strategy involved in the idea of being inside of a giant crater, and that might help with heat conservation or shelter from the weather or something. That must be why they went there. Or the structure already existed there, and that's just why they went for it. A new home. We fled from London and crossed the sea to reach the frozen north. On the way, our convoy was hit by a blizzard and scattered. A handful of us managed to reach the site of this generator, only to find it frozen solid and abandoned. Why is no one here? Did any of our people survive the blizzard? Are there any others out there? Whatever we do, we should expect the worst now that the world as we know it has crumbled. We have to survive. So it's another happy game, if that wasn't clear, because I play so many happy games on this channel. Significant percentage of games I play are ones where society has either already fallen or is in the process of falling, or has fallen so many times that it's lost track of how society ever worked as we loop forever. Fight the cold. We need to get the generator working. It provides heat and power to other buildings. Without it, we'll freeze to death. No biggie. Stockpile some coal and start the generator. Okie dokie. Fight the cold. Stockpile 200 coal and activate the generator. How does... Okay, right click does that. There's some trees and stuff down here. Frozen trees. Wood crates. Steel wreckage. There's like stuff everywhere. Steel wreckage, wood crates. Coal pile. Camera controls. Hey, look. Just right when I was talking about that. Okay, so WASD also moves around. Mouse wheel zooms. Q and E rotate. It's fine. Resources and workforce. Resource management is crucial to the city's survival. You need coal to power the generator. Wood and steel are necessary for construction and research. Steam cores are a key part of advanced buildings. Raw food is used to prepare food rations in the cookhouse. Later in the game, more types of resources may appear. Most buildings require you to assign people to work there. Certain buildings only employ engineers and others only employ workers. To assign people to work, click on a workplace, then use the assignment panel. By the way, this game was already done well enough, having sold already over 250,000 copies, that they're already promising to make expansions for it. So look forward to that. Oh my god, WASD is in a hurry compared to right mouse. Oh my goodness. Oops, that's just the same thing again. Okay, so I have stockpiles. That's where the coal's supposed to go. And this is inoperative because I don't have coal. Okay. So I assume I just need to find a place that has coal in it, like that one, and then send workers to go there. Like a lot of them, maybe, so we can get maximum coal power. Boom. All workers, all the time. Apparently I have a lot of workers. Let's maximize my worker output, because I don't have any other forms of buildings yet. I'll probably pull them off it once I have more reason, but for now I just have this massive population of workers, of 50 of them, and I might as well just get busy. Look at that. They're down there clearing through the snow. That's neato. Oh, look, there's children. Bart Russell. Oh, no. Biggest concern, lack of shelter. Yeah, I imagine they're just playing around this giant thing and there's no city yet. Parents are Ruth and Patrick. Oh, every single person has a name. Every person has a name. Everyone in my population. Let's see. Coal, wood, steel, steam cores, raw food, food rations. People on normal work shifts go to work. Ah. It's work time, so that's the time of day it is. It's currently 1 p.m. of day 1, and so it's during work, so if people are assigned to work, they'll be working now. And so there's still a day-night cycle like there was in the previous game. And oh wow, the zoom is fast. Book of Laws, Economy. They just dump you in. They are not holding my hand. I need to find out how to build things in this game, because apparently they're not going to tell me. That's how you build things. You need 10 wood. How much wood do I have? I have 30 wood. I should probably build shelter. There we go. Maybe do a couple of those, right? That was 20 of my wood. Those shelter 10 people. My population is higher than that. It was up here. What? Did I ever find population? Oh, there we go. I have 80 people. Prohibited. I have 15 engineers, 50 workers and 15 prohibited. That must be the children. Yep. What was that pop-up? Oh, construction. Controlling time. You can speed up time by clicking the game speed buttons found on the left of the temperature on the top of the screen. You can also bind keyboard shortcuts to the game speed buttons in the settings menu, which can be accessed by clicking on the blah blah blah. The game will slow down to normal speed when something important happens, as well as each day at 5 o'clock. You can pause the game by pressing the spacebar. Good to know. But so in an emergency, I can just pause the game. Construction. Use the construction menu at the bottom of the screen to order the construction or dismantling of buildings and streets. Only people who are not currently at work can build structures. Buildings inside the heat zone are warmer and provide better living and work conditions. To make best use of heat zone, buildings are placed in a radial grid. All buildings must be connected to the generator by a street in order to function. Oh, I was looking at the color. I thought it was telling me that this is what an example of bad placement, but it's just what the color looks like. I'm like, what's wrong? Why is that one good and that one's bad? But they're just showing me the color. So we build in a circle. Let's see. So these are being built. Is that that's what the engineers do, right? So there's 10 engineers here and 1 engineer there, I think. Unemployed. No, all my engineers are unemployed right now. Huh. I need to figure out what engineers even do. It's currently -4 degrees. Just no big deal. Okay, I can activate the generator. Okay. Yeah. We've got it, you guys. Because we've got enough coal. The generator hums with reassuring warmth, but we shouldn't take it for granted. If the generator goes down, the city dies. Be mindful of coal reserves. Now, food. There'll be no city if we starve to death. Secure a way to provide raw food and build a cookhouse to prepare meals. I may have overdone it on the whole... Oh god, what was that screen? I have 80 homeless people. I'm working on that. Let's get rid of all the people working on coal up here. I've over-invested in that. How do I get rid of that? Escape. There we go. Let's see. Steel wreckage. Wood crates. Crates of construction wood that's ready to use. Still, oh, it's literally they're crates that are full of wood. I thought there were crates that were wood and contained something other than wood, perhaps. Let's see. I'm gonna cut back on. It's nighttime now. Well, I'm cutting back on wood. I mean coal to get steel and wood. That'll give us something to work with. At the moment, we have stockpiles. It's not going to fill up that fast. Looks like we get 180 coal per day. This thing still stores a whole lot of that, so it's not a big hurry. What is that? Housing problem. No roof over our heads. Captain, people are understandably concerned about the lack of shelter. That is tiny font, by the way. They're falling ill from sleeping outside in this terrible cold. We better do something about it. I'll provide shelter. I'll provide shelter for everyone. What do these exclamation points mean? You'll have 2 days to provide shelter for 30 people, 60 people. Oh. So you're making promises. You get discontent for ignoring it. You gain hope, I think, if you make a promise. And the bigger the promise, the more hope you get, but the harder it is to do. Can I reasonably provide shelter for 60 people that fast? Maybe. Fuck it, committing. Boom. Let's pause the game for a second so I can consider what I'm doing. Just because I need to think about this a little bit. So they said I have 2 days. I mean, these are functioning. We built them already. Constructing the tents, which is the only type of shelter I have right now, is 10 people. So I need to build 6 of those. Each one of them is 10 wood. Doesn't seem that hard. I could just assign a lot of people to getting wood, essentially. So how much... It should say how much you use per day, right? So turning this on uses 6 coal, and it uses 100% coal consumption. What does that mean? No, I want a numerical value of how much coal it uses. Does it mean 100% of all of my coal? Well, I'm gonna commit, damn it. Alright, so wood crates. Maximize that crap. I only have 5 people left over. Should I let steel wait? No. Alright, so can I summarize all of my workers somewhere? There we go, that's handy. So there's 15 there, 15 there, 15 there, 15 there. Let's do none of that. Boom. I should have 5 left. I'll let those guys do steel. I'll have a handful of people doing steel, but I'm gonna fully go in on the whole people getting wood for a bit here. And then that should be, does it say, yeah, 120 per day. I need 60 overall in one day, so we should be good for making my wood shelters then. I'll work on the other stuff too, because like they want me to make a cookhouse next or everyone's gonna start starving. Let's check the cookhouse materials. That might require steel. Just 20 wood, that's not so big. Yeah, that's the same goal. I don't think I need steel yet. Steel's used for the gathering post. You know what? Boom, get out of there. Those guys are also going to get wood. Everyone's on wood duty except for the coal people that make us not die. And we'll see how that turns out. Unpausing. Because it's going to be one bad day, but damn it, tomorrow we're going to have every single person, all 60 of you, are going to have a house. And we're going to have food, I guess. I need to figure out how the cookhouse gets food. Like the building makes food, I guess, but like, how? How is it making food? I'll get to you in a second. How do I get raw? A word of advice. The wisdom of the crowd. Captain, when facing demands, remember this. People usually look for the quickest solution, not the best one. You don't have to agree with everything they ask for. If you fix the problem your way, it's fine. Thank you, I'll bear that in mind. But also, if you give them what they want, their hope goes up, and that makes them not attack me? Hopefully? One main objective fulfilled, last 24 hours. There's multipliers and conditions that affect this stuff. I am aware of the fact that if they become discontent enough, I believe they'll turn on you, which is concerning. I think I want to fast forward. Just because I think I'm in a period of time where I can't... Wait, actually, no, I have 10 wood still. Should I at least put the next one in? We're out of wood, yes, but only after you build that one will be out of wood. Temperature. The temperature inside a building depends on the power setting of the generator. If the building is in a heat zone, that building's insulation and conditions insulation conditions outside. There are 6 temperature levels. Comfortable, livable, chilly, cold, very cold, freezing. So ultimately yellow and red is what we have to be in to keep everyone livable, at the very least. Red's kind of a mood improver. Keeping homes and workplaces as warm as possible helps prevent people from getting ill. Some workplaces might become inoperable if temperature falls too low. How do I turn it on, though? I'll check the settings. There's a heat map button somewhere in this game. Generator heats a circular zone around it, consuming at least 6 units of coal per hour. You can research generator upgrades that raise the heat output, expand the heat zone, and reduce coal usage. Okay, so right now it's 6 units of coal per hour, meaning we're not doing terribly then. Huh. Yeah. It's like 142, it's 142 per day, 24-hour cycle, isn't it? So getting 180 per day is fine then for now. But if I want to get it higher, I'm going to need a lot more coal. Do these coal resources run out? We get 18 point hour, 362. Is there an indication of what the total amount is? Halt operation. Like, is that my daily output, or is that how much I'll, like, lose? I mean, like, is that the cap? I'm used to RTSs where you just run out of stuff, and that's concerning. Yeah, you build that thing. Look at them building that thing. See, I'm following through with my promises and whatnot. Definitely going at faster game time for now. Alright, so now 30 people have homes. And I'll go get the other half tomorrow, when everyone gets wood. First we had to make sure that we don't all die, because of the whole heat thing. So I can get higher circles, but I think the higher steam levels affect higher circles here, essentially, so we can keep expanding outward. Ah, you just click on the actual temperature reading to get the temperature overlay. And it toggles when you get out of there. Okay, so everything within that circle is livable. Everyone inside those houses is comfortable, actually, so we're not doing too terribly despite the homelessness problem. They're apparently in livable temperatures, which is not the worst. Cool. Cold homes or workplaces cause people to get sick. Without proper care, they can become gravely ill and might die. The sick can be treated in medical posts, but the gravely ill need an infirmary to be treated. Until you build one, you can save their lives by signing one of two laws. The radical treatment law allows you to treat the gravely ill in medical posts, but some of them will be left as amputees. The sustain life law allows you to keep the gravely ill alive, but untreated in medical posts or care houses indefinitely. Huh. Sounds like a binary choice, right? So radical treatment gets people fixed up faster, but they will be amputated. And sustain life can keep them stuck there until maybe until they're finally saved. Sickness. Number of sick and gravely ill people, so it's above a little medical symbol on in the interface. Medical post. The sick can be treated safely. The gravely ill can receive radical treatment. Care house. The gravely ill and amputees living in care houses get half rations. Infirmary. The gravely ill can be cured safely. So you need an infirmary if you want to be able to save them without amputating limbs, which is probably significantly more expensive, but they might be better workers and have better lives. The gravely ill can be kept alive when the sustain life law is signed. Huh. No one's ill yet, are they? Oh shit. But they're not gravely ill, they're just sick. Any details on their sickness? Spouse, Andrew Anson. Livable, temperature. They even have a house, look at them. Wait, they don't have shelter. Oh, their home is no home, whoops. The very low risk of getting ill. Aren't they already ill? Aren't they sick right now and they're unlikely to be ill? I'm confused. Huh. Tutorials, that's just every tutorial, isn't it? Alright, back to time moving. Actually, I should look at this book of laws. Adaptation. Find ways to battle hunger, sickness, and apathy. Oof. Look at you. Oh, there's a lot of left and right choices going on here. So, food additives for soup, fighting arena, child shelters, emergency shift, radical treatment versus sustain life, cemetery versus corpse disposal. No one's died yet, so I don't need to deal with that one quite yet, I don't think. What is emergency shift? Sometimes we have to concentrate on the task at hand at the cost of everything else, or die. After introducing this law, another one can be passed after 18 hours. So there's I need to get started on law passing then if I want to be able to do anything, because there's a cooldown. You gain the ability to make people work for 24 hours, but the shift increases discontent. And it looks like discontent will rise slightly just by signing this in the first place. So it's exactly what it sounds like on the front. It's an emergency thing. Child shelters. Children will be safer if they stay in child shelters during the day, and they won't cause any mischief. You get the child shelter building. You get bonus hope. You provide all children with a place in a child shelter gives a permanent hope bonus. You'll have to build a child shelter. That's the only downside, is you have to build the building, which is 20 wood, 5 steel. That's not terrible. But the alternative is to turn them into child laborers. There aren't enough hands to do all the work. We'll allow children to be employed in safe workplaces, like cookhouses or hothouses. So they don't send them all the way out on gathering missions in the freezing everything, which they'd probably be bad at doing because they have tiny bodies and probably don't contain heat very well. So they make them work as like chefs and stuff. After introducing this law, another one can be passed after, yeah. So they can work in safe workplaces, hope will fall slightly, child workers can be injured in accidents. Oh boy. Oh no, and one of the upgrades you can go for from there is to give child labor old jobs, meaning that they can do the dangerous jobs. Oh no. Or there's medic apprentices and engineering apprentices. Oh, is that does the choice I make here tell me which branch I end up in later? Like, if you do child shelters, do you get to set up like a little child college and then you can train them to become medics and engineers as opposed to just workers? Gonna be that one of those things where we choose the hope or lack thereof. Radical treatment. We'll get better details on this here. We'll try everything to cure the gravely ill, from invasive surgery to amputations. After introducing this law, another one. Yeah, I keep almost reading that one. The gravely ill will be treated in medical posts. Hope will rise slightly. 30% of gravely ill people will be left as amputees. Discontent will rise slightly, so both go up. Sustain life. We can't cure the gravely ill, but we can at least keep them alive. We won't risk dangerous amputations with radical treatment. So they won't be amputated, and oh yeah, look at that. Extra rations for the ill versus overcrowding, or the care house. So these open up other things for later. This whole tree is crazy. There's too much power. you start to almost yearn for being in Papers, Please, where you're just one guy working one job and the society's fucked, but it's not your fault. Because this time, the society being fucked is going to be my fault. They'll be kept alive but untreated. Hope will rise slightly, but also will discontent. They will not be treated, and they'll remain as a burden. They'll take up bed and medical posts. So we'll just be stuck with the gravely ill until I can get further in to potentially cure them for good. So it's like, do we amputate them now so we can get them back in the field, or do we try to have temporary fixes where we just keep them good for now, and then we have a solution later, hopefully, if I can even live that long. Soup. We can... soup versus food additives. Those are two separate options. We can cook soup instead of full meals to feed more people with the same amount of raw food. So you get soup at the cookhouse, you lose hope, and you gain discontent. And eating soup will cause discontent. People just don't like soup. I'm guessing it's because it's lower quality food, but it feeds more people. But food additives, we can add sawdust to meals to make them more filling, although not exactly tasty or healthy. Okay. They both give you new meals. They both make hope and discontent fall. But this makes people ill, whereas this one makes people discontent. If I'm gonna do things that make people happy, like if I want to be all goody-goody and try to not child labor the children and chop off all the limbs, then the soup might be the bullet people have to bite if they want me to not do the other things. Fighting arena. Nothing relieves tension after better than watching a few rounds of an all-out slugfest. Slugfest. How did I get there? So you can build a fighting arena, which you have to build, and evening bouts will reduce discontent. It doesn't even say that people will be wounded. I thought that was going to be the downside, is that people will get wounded if you create fighting arenas. Although there's dueling law up here, so that might be the implication that shows up later, is that fights probably wound people. That's my biggest concern, but this is one way of dealing with discontent. Other stuff might not be great. Oh, the cemetery. I'm not looking forward to this one. We will establish a burial ground so that we can lay our dead to rest with dignity and respect. You can build the cemetery, which of course you have to build. Hope rises slightly, no risk of disease from unburied bodies. Each burial will keep some people from work for a few hours. Corpse disposal. We'll keep dead bodies out of the heat zone and cover them with snow. The cold will halt their decay. So you create a snow pit where you just dump the bodies. You got no risk of disease from unburied bodies. So one way or another, I gotta do one of these in order to stop the unburied bodies diseases from being a problem. Bodies are preserved for potential future use. Oh no, the implication of that. Hope will fall, discontent will rise. What might happen here is I might do all the hopeful, nice options and try to be good about this playthrough. Then my society will fall and fail, and then I'll have to start over and be like, alright, time to do the really sad things now. That might be where this goes. I'm not even... I think that's where that might be the direction we go in. I'm gonna start off by creating child shelters. I'm a good man, right? Children will now spend their day in shelters. We see more hope. Hooray, right? Oh my god, I'm gonna go do all the nice things, like try to fix the wounded and make child shelters, and I'm definitely gonna have to dilute people's food and make a cemetery, and then society's gonna fall horribly because I tried to not do any of the nasty things, and then we're gonna have to have a season 2. I'm just predicting that right now, but I kind of want to see how that plays out, and if nothing else, to justify my actions when I do have to do that shit. Let's see, what's this? Iron ore. Build a steel works to start extraction. Are these just trees? Yeah, frozen trees. Just harder to extract than the literal boxes that are just sitting around everywhere. Yep, coal deposit needs mines, whereas this is coal piles that are just sitting around. So basically this place was already industrialized before we got here, and there's just a bunch of like resources sitting around that can be picked up by hand, which is good because otherwise we'd have to build buildings for every single resource right off the bat, which would be a problem. Alright, back to fast forward time. And what are they going to do all day? Watch the snow fall? Kids could do something useful during their time in the shelter. Yeah, like learn how to be engineers or something, right? That's what I'm thinking. I want them all to go to kid college or something, and then they can be more advanced workers when they will grow up, as opposed to working their childhood away or something. Okay, so there's a cooldown here that shows you how long it is before the laws are going to be ready. Let's see, I can't use any of my resources for now, I believe. I just have to wait. Oh, as I watch my cool tick down. Ah, it's 5 a.m., which is the time they said that it would go back to normal. Is that when everyone goes to work? Resting. Going to rest. Another day, another shift. Well, that's life. Let's get to work. Can't let up now. Another day, another shift. It's the second day of the game. You can't pretend that you're already in a loop here. The city wakes up at 6 a.m. People have some free time until the work shift starts at 8, unless there's construction work to do. After they finish their shift at 6 p.m., they're free to help with construction again, which can keep them up well past midnight. You can extend the 10-hour work shift if you sign certain laws. Oh look, we have an actual schedule here. So they sleep for only 6 hours, and midnight to 6, then 2 hours of free time, then a lot of work time. Yeah, we're starting at a 10-hour work shift, and then 6 hours of free time. And so you can eat up their 8 hours of free time with more work time on top of the 10 they're already working if you start doing the other stuff, but that's going to hurt them over time. Yep. Oh yeah, you can even have a switch for it with 8 to 6 versus 6 to very late. It's 6 to 8, I think. After signing the extended shift and emergency shift laws, you can extend your people's work time. Yeah, we saw that stuff. Beginning day 2. I'm sure this playthrough will speed up over time. There's a lot of tutorials, and also I'm talking about the concepts a bit. Let's look at the economy. I haven't looked at you yet. Alright, coal consumption and coal gain. This is clearly a problem because they're very close together. So if anything goes wrong, I'm gonna be screwed. Because this is how much coal I use up per day, and that's my margin. And so if anything goes wrong, I won't even have one extra day of survival, basically. Can I do anything at this menu? So people have to work. All right, that's just the places where I can gather right now. So that's where I'm doing it right now. All right, so I'm definitely gonna want to get a lot. Yeah, this is gonna last for 2 days and 6 hours. I need a lot more coal, basically. I currently have a backlog of 2 days. I'm very happy it tells me that kind of information. But that's all I have, and I'm not having a net gain overall, really. Let's fast forward for a bit. Now it's 8 a.m. I was skipping past the beginning part because their free time was happening. I haven't robbed them of that yet, but we'll see if that lasts. Okay, so I need to plan. Child shelter is 5 steel. Does not let me queue it up. Huh. Lets me do that. There's not a queuing action where you can set it up for when you have the resources? I don't think there is. Huh. Gonna have to wait for the steel to come in. Do I have the steel now? I now have to wait for 20 wood for that to be available. Alright, let's do that then. You go right here. There we go, we got a child shelter. I also need to make that cookhouse, or we're gonna be in trouble when everyone starts starving. That'll be my next project for the wood. I'm pausing every time I start to build, just in case we're out of wood. I know that I used it all. I was there. The hunter's hut. Hunters based here hunt every night. Ooh, they hunt at night, venturing beyond the city to track their prey in frozen wasteland. 15 raw food per day. Is that food for 15 people? Is it per hunter, I wonder? Or is that the whole hunter's hut? People work here, gather resources from nearby coal piles, wood crates, steel wreckage. That's like a way to make the gathering go faster, because there's less trip to have to go on, I suppose. Resource depot just means I can store more, right? That's what I have right here. That's a stockpile. So the stockpile is just like a pile, but what is the resource depot? Oh, it's resource specific. So this is it's like a stockpile, but it's really for one specific resource overall. And tech, I need a workshop to do technology. I should probably start that soon. But how's the heat map going, by the way? Everyone fine? Okay, so for now we're good. I need to squash that homelessness problem. Okay, so 3 more houses to go. I'm gonna run out of spaces in the internal circle, which is a problem because I'll have 1 more to go. So that means we're gonna have to go to the next ring. We have 3 sick, but none of them are gravely sick, and we're still waiting for the next chance to do the next thing. Okay, so children cared for. The child shelter is ready, and the children are safe inside. People can work without worrying that something will happen to their kids. Hope rises. Ah, yeah, get that hope up there. Why is it flashing red? Does it always just flash red when it wants me to look down there, even when it's a good thing?